Hello everyone, welcome to our channels. I still don't know where I'm going to upload this video, but it's nice to start from somewhere. Anyway, Maria and I were outside in the weekend and we just walking in this beautiful place, in this nature, you know, in this. And while we're walking, you know, there's the sound of the trees, of the birds, of the insects. Anyway, so I thought about there's so much music, so much harmony. And since Maria is a musician, and I thought to myself to ask her, what do you think about this? Where do you see music in life, in nature like this?
I mean, basically it's everywhere. But I think the most important is that we are listening, because often we are so distracted and everything becomes noise, especially when we are in a city, and we are not paying attention anymore to the music that is everywhere. And when we came to a place like this, out in the nature, also me, I'm starting to open the senses again. And I'm noticing things that I didn't even notice for a long time when I was in the city, like the wind, rhythm, or when you are at the ocean, of course, it's very clear, the rhythm of the waves.
Yeah.
And
where do you see it now? Let's say, okay, in nature, I understand in nature. Where do you find it also, let's say, in normal life between people?
I mean, first of all, in the heartbeat, so like the pulse.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not talking about sounds in the technical aspect. I'm thinking about like kind of the concept of harmony, for example. Harmony for me, it is way much more universal. Music is one expression, and you know, everything that is not in harmony will sound dissonant. It's also like kind of same thing with relationships, same things in business, the same thing in life, and when things are not harmonious, you know, and you know, like the code and music theory and what it means to be in harmony, what is melody, what is rhythm, what is chord. Anyway, so where do you see this also harmony in real life?
I mean, we are ourselves also made of frequency. So we are sending out frequency all the time in our state, that we are in the emotional state or our mental state. And when we meet another being that also is resonating on a certain frequency, these frequencies, they can clash. Like literally, it can be even physically sometimes sensible. Or they can harmonize. So when they match I mean, this is very mathematic in music. You have certain formants that are fitting together, frequency that is matching in a way that it creates a harmonic feeling. It's interesting because it sounds so abstract, but it's something that we feel. It's when the harmonies and the frequencies are you say like ergänzen. What is this in English? Extend each other. And they are...
Or complement.
Yeah, complement each other. So it's like there's also something is filling a missing part, or they are very similar in places, so it matches. And it clashes. For example, in frequencies, it's interesting that often those that are very next to each other, like close to each other, almost similar, but not exact, they clash the most. You know this phenomena? It's also interesting when you think about it in real life and with people. It's like you are next to each other, but you're not really on spot. You're just, it's like you're not hitting it. So it clashes in a way. And in relationships, this is especially interesting, the topic of harmonizing. And
you know, because harmony, like in music, for example, harmony is a code.
Yeah.
You need to know the code in order to be in harmony. But you know, it is also, the idea is that the human brain perceives things as harmony because it is, let's say, less complex. That's why, like, when you make Western music, people, like with note, half note, etc., it will be accepted much easier than when you, for example, make Eastern music and Arabic music, where you go on the quarters and things like this. And for the Eastern ear, it's sometimes like there's something dissonance there. It's like the brain cannot perceive the complexity of the, between the, like the note and then the half and then the filter and all those things. So it sounds dissonance, while for a trained ear or an ear that can perceive more complexity, it sounds totally harmonious, and even it has some kind of magic.
True. Yeah.
So I'm thinking about also, like in real life, it is not only about the music itself, it's about how we perceive it. Is it pleasant or it's not pleasant, depending on who's listening. And I know it like from many times, like you know it from our personal life, that some people like you very much, or like me very much, and some don't know how to swallow that thing, how to process this thing. What is this thing? What is this? Doesn't make sense, because it's not in the program. It's not in what they're used to.
It's habits also, how we are, as you say, how we are programmed. But, we develop certain habits, and it's also socializing. And then when we hear something that is outside of this pattern that is familiar to us, first of all, it creates a disharmonic state in us. It's also interesting that it can change when you open up more. You perceive more complexity, as you say. It's really interesting. It doesn't have to stay this way. So,
but even within the range, I'm taking just inspiration from music and try to reflect on real life, because we know this. Even in places where people actually acknowledge harmony, it doesn't sound bad. It's not dissonant. They acknowledge harmony, and people need to know the rules in order to maintain this kind of harmony. And just like in music theory, and when people like improvise, let's say, they need to know where they are. And of course, you cannot now start now to train the ear where the right notes are, but at least you already know where you should go. You know the scales. And also not only you know the scales, you also listen in the moment. When you already mastered the rules and you know what should be done, then you can listen to the rhythm and try to be part of this harmony. Try to be part of the harmony, because many times it is there's resistance to be part of something and to reject the things. Hello.
Hello.
Once in a while, someone is walking by. I'm thinking about music theory. When people try to play together, to create harmony together. So if people don't know the rules of a game, if they don't know the scales, if they're not being trained to be part of this, they will not be able to harmonize. They will not be able even to start to be part of this thing. And only people who already know the code, they can start to harmonize. There they can start to be creative, start to exchange. And this is one beautiful thing that I also observed among professional musicians, where the moment they sit with each other, all the boundaries disappear. You know what I mean? Although the boundaries disappear, suddenly there's no nationality, suddenly there's no gender, suddenly there's no backgrounds. They are fascinated. And you see even, let's say, a Western musician sitting with an Eastern musician, sitting with a musician from a different culture, from Africa, and they sit with each other and they love each other. Suddenly like they're like little children, just enjoying the game, enjoying the exchange. So there's a lot of aspects in life that I see. Like when I see people, regardless of music, when I see people that are competent, that they know something about basics that I know about, regardless of their culture. They know something about photography, they know something about cinematography, they have an observation when they watch a film, they have an observation. I'm suddenly like a little child. Like I want to play around and I want to explore this and I don't care about the person. But a person who is coming dissonant, he's not trained to be part of the harmony that I'm part of, let's say, that the frequency that I'm part of. there will be less excitement about it. So kind of, sometimes, music, there's resonance, especially with acoustic music or something like this, where the string vibrates. It vibrates with us, like we feel the vibration. There's something emotional happens, regardless from the sensual perception and regardless from the interpretation of melody, the vibe already creates kind of tuning in state.
And this is something we can consciously also decide. We can consciously decide to tune in, right? But we have to train it. I thought about it when you said all these things. It's like languages, you know. People learn a lot of languages. They have so much vocabulary, or let's say so many frequencies that they can connect with other people and harmonize. And it's not limited to just one channel. You know what I mean? So also in music, when people play or they're trained, they open up many, many channels. So they have more options to connect, like in life with people. And also something I thought about, an analogy, when you think about rhythm, when you have, especially in jazz music, you have this, that music, when it's improvised, it's often like a dialogue. So you have a melody pattern, and it's being echoed, or someone is responding to it, another musician, and they start a dialogue with each other, just based on listening and being totally in the moment. And this is also something that I enjoy a lot when I hear it, where you listen to music and you feel like it's like a conversation. Like people talking to each other.
You need to master the language in order to have a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to sit with someone and you want to talk about complicated things, you cannot say, good morning, coffee. Your vocabulary cannot be only good morning and I need coffee. You know, you need to be able to know the structure and the grammar and the vocabulary and a lot of things in order to have a deep conversation with someone. It is, and it is difficult when somebody doesn't know the structure and he wants just to improvise and he just wants to have a conversation. It will never be deep. That's why also I say many people who aspire to be musicians or like singers or something like this, of course there's a lot of cliches, there's a lot of stories of how they made it and how they could sing on stage. I'm not going now to go into those cliches because the details are way more important than the general story. You know, of the waitress that became an Oscar nominee, and there are no shortcuts. The structure must be learned. Some people live their whole lives, they waste it until they're realizing this at the end. And yesterday I watched a video on Instagram about a person who's 97 years old and still sitting in cafes in LA because he's hoping that a director will discover him. 97 years old. And I thought to myself, what if it was like somebody, 97 years old, filling a lottery ticket weekly, hoping at the age of 97 to win some amount, to have some amount of money. Is it worth it? Like all the lottery tickets that you filled with in your life, a long time ago you could have created a project, you could have made your own things.
Learn something,
grew in it, become a different person. But that's it? Sitting in cafes or like filling this lottery ticket. So sitting and learning the structure and knowing all the ins and outs, it is even still not, you're still not in a place to, let's say, make money out of it, make it a business, because the profession, learning the profession is different than having the business. And the knowledge of the business has to be connected with the knowledge of the industry. And the knowledge of the industry has to be connected with the knowledge of the economy. All of it has to be in synchronicity, in harmony. All of it is one big music. And some people want to say, oh no, I just want to sing. You cannot sing on your own. You are part of something much bigger than yourself, if you really understand. if you really want to achieve the holistic, if you really want to make the fundamental change, you are not on your own. This insect here, and this bee there, and this tree here, and this flower there, and this plant there, they are not disconnected from all of this. All of this is one big network. It's not on its own. So even an artist, now regardless whether we are talking about which layer he or she is, even a person, not an artist, any professional, you are not on your own. You are part of one big orchestra. And you need to find your place in this orchestra and to harmonize with it. You need to master the structure. You need to know the basics. And you need to improve daily in order to be, if you aspire to be something bigger than yourself. And this way, like kind of going on the safe side, I don't want to take responsibility about anything. I don't want to make a decision about anything. I'm not interested in that. I just want to sing. And you can sing, of course. No, everyone can sing in the toilet. And you don't need harmony. You don't need an orchestra. You can sing as much as you want. But the moment you start to feel frustrated because the person is denying his or her truth, they want to be something bigger than themselves, but they don't want to acknowledge their responsibility and the commitment that is needed in order to get there, then this is dissonance. This is dissonance. This is painful. This is painful to the spirit.
I also just thought that all this starts with you. I also just thought that all of this starts with harmonizing with yourself first. So I also noticed that when you are in harmony with yourself, a lot of things align around you in the right way, you know. And suddenly you feel like that circumstances in your life are adapting to this harmony, this harmonic state that you have inside. So I find it interesting also regarding what you just said with building something, and you have to find your place in this system, and you cannot be disconnected from all those factors. And they all have to come together as a big orchestra, as you said. And yeah, there I thought, first of all, we have to tune our own instrument. It has to be like the strings in our own system have to be in tune with each other. And then they can be also in tune with others. And they can find their place much easier in that orchestra.
Yeah, and you know, there's a music and orchestra. It is a nice allegory because it doesn't make a difference in which profession, in which business, in which being, in which experience, personal experience or social experience. The person himself is a harmony, is an orchestra of all its parts, of all the cells, of all the parts of the body. And then you connect like many actors on stage or on screen. Sometimes they think that they are alone, that they're just acting. No, you are part of something huge. You're part of this scene. You have the actors, you have the cinematographer, you have the director, and you have the stage design, you have the costume design, you have the makeup, you have the haircut, and even you connect with the editor in the post-production. So kind of, it is not even on the same timeline. It is not on the same time spot. It is, and things work parallel. Even perhaps after you ended, the distributors and the apps and the TV shows it. So you're connected with something much bigger than yourself. Connected with your art, with the business, with the industry, with the economy, with the international economy, with the whole this consciousness ocean, with the whole universe. People underestimate the words and the actions and what it means to be part of something, what harmony is. So we can hear this in music. You can immediately hear in music when things go wrong, when things are out of sync.
I thought just now how the concept of freedom fits into this. You know, some people, I feel like, and I think I also did this from time to time in my life, try to seek for freedom by taking yourself totally out of this holistic orchestra, you know, kind of going against the stream or going against the harmony and calling this freedom. And I find it interesting.
Freedom
what
of
would you
what?
think?
Freedom of what?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because
I
limitation is everywhere. You have gravity, you have walls, you have freedom of what?
I think freedom of decision.
Okay, then this is a decision. This is a decision. I decided I don't want to make a decision. Is all right, that decision? Freedom of what? It's like someone who smokes and tells you, I'm free, I can do whatever you want. No, you're not free. You are bound to the cigarette. You are addicted. You're not free.
Yeah, this is what I just thought about. It's so interesting because when, for example, when I play music with many people and it really harmonizes, I feel so free in it suddenly, you know, because it matches and it goes into each other. So this state creates freedom, even though there's a very strict structure and we all have to listen to each other. On the other hand, when you have a group of people and one person decides, let's say in the music context and improvisation, for example, or even in a written piece, and one decides to play something completely different, it doesn't feel free even. But for that person may feel, yeah, I have the right to do what I want, so I'm just...
It is amazing that many people, especially artists, who say, most of the people who say, if not everyone, I just don't want to make, to misjudge something, but most of them, if not everyone, they'll speak about breaking the rules. They actually don't know what the rules are. They never learned what the rules are. You know, the Dunning-Kruger effect. Perhaps they read a couple of things, perhaps they follow one workshop, perhaps, and then they think they know the rules. No. Many people don't know that they don't know, so kind of break which rules? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Actors stand on stage every evening in the theater, in the opera. They are reading the exact same lines every evening. They walk the same mise-en-scène every evening. The light man, the sound man, they activate the cues at the same spot every evening, like a machine. Now find your presence and find your freedom within this structure. There is no professional performer because structure is the default. There is no, you cannot, as we said, we have limitations, you have gravity, you have
a
body, you have walls, you have physicality. The question is, what can the artist do and maximize his or her freedom within the range of this limitation?
So would you say that freedom then also begins with knowing the rules and knowing the structure?
You need to know where the boundary is in order to break free.
Yeah.
How can you know you broke free? You don't know where the boundary is.
Yeah. It's interesting that sometimes the idea of freedom is, I don't even want to know about the boundaries. I don't even want to get to know them. It's like, I observe this a lot.
You remember those stories of people that, when we made those films in the past and they wanted to make films but much better, so they took a lot of money from somewhere and they created films, and then the films were disastrous because they had no basic knowledge of what frame rate is. They had no basic knowledge of what shutter speed is, what white balance is. The very basic technicalities, and how you're going to put this film on screen without knowing what you want in the first place, without having a reference, without knowing, not to talk about camera angles and camera movement, and not to talk about what is psychodrama, what is storytelling is about. What is characters? What is conflicts? What is relationships? Most importantly, we have a camera, we can click the record button, and we have a film. And this looks like this, and the people learn it the hard way. They wasted all the money to the garbage. And okay, by the way, also, many people even don't learn from those experiences because they're so learning resistant. Their ego is on the line that they will not even want to. All those blockages, they block harmony. They block exchange. They block growth. There is nothing blocked here. Look around. There's nothing blocked here. Everything is flowing.
Even the trees are exchanging.
Everything is moving. Everything is alive. So kind of what I'm saying is that the ego is painful for people because they block something that should be flowing naturally by default. And even if you know it, most of the challenges that you have, or like most of the themes that you work with when it comes to voice, is unlocking blockages.
Oh, yes.
And the same thing in relationships, with personalities, with the people's unblocking blockages. Like people, the flow is the natural state, and people do something in order to block it.
Yeah.
They actively block something that should have not been blocked.
Yeah, I always say this to my students, that actually they have to learn more to let go or not to do things than to do more. You know, the not doing of the things is the most difficult for many people. And in this context, I also find interesting that I have this phenomena that people don't want to learn structure. In singing, for example, they just want to start.
Come on, just a second until there's a person that is going.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
go
so
on.
also in singing voice lessons, people often don't want to learn structure, so it's kind of boring, and it makes them feel or notice their limits, and they don't like it. So some want to just let go and let out their voices randomly, you know, just sing abstract. But this is not leading to freedom. Often it just keeps them in the familiar and the comfortable area, and they are not expanding the space and the abilities and the possibilities that they have. So I find interesting that also the path to freedom in this leads through learning the structure, because then you get to know your limits, and then you can consciously unblock those blockages and overcome them. And suddenly you have a wider space around you, like the one here.
Yeah.
And you can use much more of your voice and the resonance. And so, again, it's this idea that you need to learn the structure first, and you need to know the rules in order to get more free.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if someone just wants to enjoy, that's something else. If somebody wants just to enjoy himself, that's it. You don't need to learn anything. They don't even need to learn. They don't need even to commit to anything. If they are on their own, wants to enjoy on their own. But the moment someone wants to be part of harmony, you need to know what harmony is. You need to know the structure of that harmony, and which scale it plays, and which key you are, and what is. First of all, those things. And then to be present within that structure, within that rhythm, with the exchange, and see from there, then, only then, creativity starts. You cannot be creative without knowing what you're going to create on. Then creativity starts. Then you start to grow with each other. Then exchange leads to growth. But not even before anyway. We talked a lot, huh?
Yeah, we talked a lot, and we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah, almost half an hour.
Around music. We started with
the dog
harmony.
likes us.
Oh, the dog is cute.
The dog wants to join the conversation.
But it's like a full circle. We started with the harmony, And we ended with the idea of freedom. And it is in relationship with each other, right? So both very big concepts, and they need to play in harmony together.
Look, it is also interesting. People confuse this because when we speak about structure and freedom and all those things, like think about our relationship. When it comes to many belief systems, social belief systems, religious belief systems, that they have kind of, oh, you should, you know, what we experience through people that we live with each other, etc. Now, here you can be free, because here there's no limitations. Your limitations are here. When people are programmed on racial belief systems, national belief systems, religious belief systems, this is illusionary boundaries. You can break. Enjoy your freedom there. But they want to be imprisoned into their brains, but I will not follow the rules of like, need to find what freedom actually is and to use what is attainable. Anyway, we talked a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Really nice.
Thank you everyone for staying with us. I hope it was a nice walk. We see each other again. Ciao.
Ciao.